Welcome to Still Plays Galaxy of Heroes. This is Grand Arena, the first match of Season 36. We're starting this one off in Kyber 3, just fell from Kyber 2 back down here after a really rough couple weeks to wrap up that 3v3 season. But a lot of the work we've been doing to prepare my roster over the past couple months, basically since August or September, where I started several projects, those dominoes are starting to fall into place, and over the next 2-3 weeks we're going to see some major changes on top of the ones that we're going to see today. Not going to do a recap. I just put out 3 videos in the past couple days from the end of the 3v3 season where I included the recap that we usually start a new week off with. So right now, today's bracket, Kyber 3, my opponent here, Caleb. He is a 6GL player and one of the tougher opponents in the bracket. I don't know how this always happens where I feel like to start a week I gotta deal with something a little tough. There's only one other player in this bracket with as many GLs as Caleb here. There's a guy off screen with 6 as well. In terms of Zetas, we are tied. Omicron's, he's got 11, so we're pretty close. GLs, we just mentioned, but the rest of the bracket here is mostly 4, and now I finally have a 3rd in Jabba, but my Jabba is not relic yet because I'm also working on trying to get Dr. Aphra by next week. I expect to be done farming Sana, B2, and 000 all by next week. So I did not have the Kairos necessary in order to relic my Jabba right now. I don't want to delay that Aphra unlock. So hopefully in the next week or two, those things will all be happening. We'll see how much I can cram in at once. Now, relic units here, I'm at 95. My opponent is 135. That's kind of what we're seeing these days. That 120 to 140 range is typical. I'm usually the lowest in a bracket. That's the case right now, but that's starting to shrink as I've focused on that a lot more. Usually my priorities have always been to rapidly gear up any new character to gear 11 so that I can utilize them in whatever capacity that I can. So that is the trade-off I make, where I have fewer relics so I can have greater depth. But Datacrons and the new territory battle has put some upward pressure on my roster. So those numbers are going to be changing as I try and work on correcting some of the weaknesses so that I can perform better next time I climb into Kyber 2, which will hopefully be by next week. Now with 6-dot mods, I have a low count. My opponent has a ton of them, but when we are looking at the specifics, I measure up very favorably. So yes, he has almost 200 more than me with the 6-dot mods, but we're tied in the plus top 25 average. With the top 500 mods, I am beating my opponent and I'm the best in the bracket. With the top 25, I'm not the best, but I'm tied for second, it looks like. There's a guy off screen who's at... Oh, no, that's not right. My opponent and I, Caleb, we're tied for the first, for the best top 25 average. The 25 plus speed mods, I've got an advantage of 1. With the 20 plus, I've got a 30 mod advantage, and the 15 plus, I've got a 41 mod advantage with my opponent. But with the rest of the bracket, my counts are dwarfing a lot of the other people here, and my opponent is actually probably the second best player here with the mods. So not only is he a 6GL player, but he's a very well modded player. Where we do have a strong advantage is in the Datacrons, but don't look at that too closely, especially with the level 9 Datacrons, because I got my Jabba one in advance. I can't use it yet, so that level 9 is a little misleading. And I have 2 level 9 Inquisitor Datacrons, and I'm only going to be able to use 1 on Grand Inquisitor. The other one, that was me trying to slice to get that Grand Inquisitor mod, and it got too expensive to the point where I leveled up a new one. With the rest of these Datacrons, you can see that most of the bracket here is not really engaging with them. there. I'll show one guy off screen. Let me unlock this. So off screen here, Freddie J, he has the second best Datacrons of this bracket. But I don't, he might win a round or two. I don't think he's going to be in the final round. So depending on how this goes, we'll see whether or not we face him. Now, with GLs, nobody has Jabba except for me. That's a nice advantage for players with Lord Vader. That can go either way, but fortunately that Datacron is off of the roster, so Vader is not as scary as he used to be. There are only 3 players with JTR. That's fairly interesting. And with Ben Solo being a lifter, I think that's notable right now. I'm the only player without Sith Eternal Emperor. Everybody has JML. There's one guy without a JMK, and that's Kylo Ren here. Now, Omicrons and the rest of these key characters. So my opponent, no Melgus, probably not a highly active player when it comes to Conquest, because Melgus was a very motivating player. If you don't have Melgus, you probably specifically don't care for Conquest. He doesn't have Radis, so we don't need to worry about the Profundity. And his Starkiller, this is actually a little interesting to me. So if he doesn't have Melgus, so that's Omicrons he doesn't have. He only has 1 on Starkiller. So we scroll down a little further here. He doesn't have the Traya Omicron, or maybe he didn't reapply it. That might not be reflective of whether or not it's active in this bracket, but he has not. He at least has not reapplied it. I have. And he has no Ben Solo, so no Omicrons on Ben Solo. So that's making me wonder, how does he have 11 Omicrons? Because he's missing a number of it. Well, let's actually take a look at that. Just quickly to wrap up this portion here. One other player without a Relic Radis. Looks like everyone else will have the Profundity. We'll double check that as we get a little bit lower. 2 players without Amis on their Idens, which is bizarre. Like, you don't need 7 stars. It's kind of alarming to me that players don't have Amis on Iden at this point. That's a 3-star Gear 8 character. Throw an Ami on. She boosts troopers so much that there's no reason to delay that one. Now, with the rest of this here, everyone's got Wampas. There are 3 of us without Amis on Dash. I might get to that soon. When it comes to Savage, 4 players without 4 with, my opponent being one who does have it. Only 3 of us with Ben Solo. 1 other player with Aphra. Now let's take a look at those Omicrons before we move further. So here's his Amis. He's got Asajj, Darth Talon, which is going to be relevant in 5v5. It's not one, by the nature of how it functions, it's not a 3v3 Ami. Because you need to have Scion and Trey around to make it most effective. I guess technically the Trey Ami might make it where you could do Nihilus, Talon, and Traya and leave Scion off, but I think it's more of a 5v5 Ami just by its mechanics. He's got First Order, Iden. Curzanton's a weird... Actually, you know what? I should put on Curzanton now that I have Jabba. That's a good reminder to myself, because that's one I just ignored for so long, and now it's time to no longer ignore it. I was half expecting to see Chirpa here, considering that he doesn't have multiples on Starkiller, multiples on Melgus. And there's a couple Territory War Amis here. Somewhat sensible, but a little weird. Curzanton's very weird. If you don't have Jabba, there's no reason to put that one on. Alright, back to this. 2 players without Maul. So 2 players and no Maul. My opponent has a Relic 2 Maul, so that's a little bit weaker. Cat here. Everyone's got Cat. 1 person has not worked on their Echo. A couple weak Moff Gideons, but they're at least usable. And now with Profundity, there are 2 players without, my opponent being 1. And my opponent actually has only a 5-star Executor. That's pretty shocking at this point. But I guess he's probably free to play and has placed more emphasis onto GLs. Not how I would play things, just because it is much easier to lock your opponent out if you have a fleet advantage. And if you're weak in fleets, you're going to struggle. And we might actually see that today. rest of this. Let's take a look at the hotbot. I can't believe how long I've been talking, but I think my patter has been good enough that we're not going to redo it. Now here with my opponent, undersizes and clears are low. The undersizes are respectable considering how low the undersizes are. That's going to be advantage to me. Relic distribution is solid, but he's a little heavy on the lower relics. That's interesting. The modding on his characters is actually pretty weak. That's a slow JML. It's not too hard to get him to 500 speed. So to be that slow is interesting. I'm still working on my Jabba, as you can see. No Melgus, no Solo, but he does have speed advantages on a number of these other characters, but I don't think it really comes into play too much unless you're doing mirrors, which these days fairly rare, except for maybe GLs. Now, quick closer look at my opponent's speeds and how his roster is going to stack up. With his characters at 300 speed or faster, Dooku's at 300, Katarn's at 299. So he's at 24 characters who are modded to that degree. Did I count that out right? Yeah, I counted that out right. Alright, let's take a look at defense. Okay, so Caleb has attacked first. My fleet's still standing. That means he's either playing right now or has stopped. And maybe my analysis of how that was looking is going to prove out. Let's take a look up top. I have made some minor changes, really more just taking some things off of defense and moving them to offense for testing purposes. We'll see if we can do testing or not. So it's probably time for Grievous to move to offense, except I need relics on Droideka and especially on B2. But these are the things I'm weighing for my roster. We're going to be adding a number of additional relics soon, but we will do so strategically. So I think last time I had like Inquisitors on defense because I didn't have Grand Inquisitor at that point. Now I do. It was more to just throw something because my defense has been getting weaker and weaker to accommodate having enough counters for offense. It's something I want to reevaluate. I need to get my defense beefed up, but we got a couple holds here. So Melgus getting a hold using, I guess we can't click on it, and another hold here from CLS. So I want to talk about Jabba here because this is a bad Jabba team I threw on defense. The idea is I don't have the ultimate yet. We'll have it by next week. But in the testing that I've done in Squad Arena, that Jabba is no good. I think is one of the weaker GLs without relics and without the ultimate. He's great with that stuff. And that's part of the reason why I took the Hutt Cartel off of the squad, intentionally making it weaker because I want to use the Hutt Cartel for offense, and because I think just Sing Jabba is going to be enough to draw out a GL. And I wanted to throw my Jabba on defense in this manner because I wasn't going to be able to use him to beat anything notable on offense. He's not going to counter any GLs at this point. And just his presence should be enough to alter some of his offensive strategies that might give me a boost. So we don't know definitively, but maybe this Melgus hold or this CLS hold was made possible by Jabba drawing out a counter. That's the thought process. Now back wall. And for Jabba to do that, he didn't need good characters. I was expecting him to lose. Now, this back wall's been getting weaker and weaker in order to accommodate a lot of my offensive things. So I don't like my defense anymore. But with only with 2 GLs for basically the past year, kind of the compromises I've had to make. Now, Fleet here, let's see if he attacked. Okay. So with the Scythe and now the TIE Defender, Chimera I loved on defense, but we might throw it back on defense. We might throw the Executrix on defense at some point, but for the foreseeable future, I want to just test those things on offense. We'll reevaluate in a little bit. So my fleet wall is much weaker than it usually is because this Radis isn't going to do anything. Now, here's what we got to deal with. Usually I'm attacking by now, so this has been a long preamble. We got a Rey, no Swolo, which I'm actually a little concerned about because I feel like my success rate against Rey with gas has been far higher with Swolo. Lord Vader here, not a terribly scary one. That's nice. Padme, fairly weak. We might be able to Malak that one. Wait, no, Malak's on defense. Qui-Gon here. Down below, we are looking at a third GL with JML, but under Bastila lead. We got Grievous and Aurra Singh squad. We do got to pay attention to the Ami on Chrysanthemum, but nothing we really got to worry about. This is just annoying. There's no win condition on this. There's no Mando. We'll see how we play it. Down here, this is a much more worrisome Bossk team, but the way he's playing these bounty hunters, I think he's made both of his bounty hunter teams weaker in order to play it that way. I think we're going to start with Bastila, because I want to use Grand Inquisitor and that Inquisitor Ami. I'm a little concerned, but we'll talk about it as we go through this. So the concern I have here is with Bastila lead, it is going to be harder to land the Purge, which might mean we have a slow start, or it might be enough to derail Grand Inquisitor lead. It's not enough to scare me off, though. I still want to see what happens, because a lot of the Purge mechanics are unresistible for Jedi, so it might not matter. The Watt presence might be the bigger factor. Also, you shouldn't do this anymore. I mean, I guess it's a Relic 9 JML, but CLS can beat that. It's a little risky, but it's with a Relic 9 JML, but that's not anything you should be doing. All right, let's get to it. That is the longest opening we've had in a while, so sorry about how long I took, but I feel like the talking was good. All right. We are going to AoE, get a bunch of Purge out. We're going to... Can I attack anyone else? Yeah, okay. I think I'm going to go after Jedi Knight Luke. This might be a bad idea. Maybe we should just get rid of Bastila really quick. But Luke is more of a threat. So we're going to hit Luke. And just keep hitting that torture. We're already through the protection up. Okay, okay, there's the taunt, which is annoying. That's what I'm most worried about, because that taunt is going to be persistent until we get through all of this protection. Maybe going after Watt would have been the better thing to do. But once we get enough Purge, we can throw down a buff immunity, so I'm... Okay, come on, take him out. Okay, he's down. Let's throw Torture on Bastila. Why isn't JML taunting? I just want to throw an ability block on JML. Let's let's go after Yoda, because Yoda... I'm talking too much. We're running out of time. Once Yoda goes under stealth, it's going to be annoying. Let's throw the torture on Luke. And just keep hitting Luke. We do have a proper Datacron on Grand Inquisitor here. Actually, maybe that... Yeah. I can just auto from here, really. So protection up is gone. Protection is gone. And that should do it. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So that's one GL down. We got 2 left, and we could possibly beat some of these without having to resort to without having to use both of my GLs, because the Ray we might be able to beat with Starkiller or my gas. The rest of this, though, we got to think about how I want to play it. Because I actually didn't think about this. I thought about how I wanted to play the GLs. Just not about this. The back wall, I think, is going to be fairly weak. We could just Wampa this. We're not... Probably should just Wampa it. We could even Savage it. So if we Wampa this... What I want to not... I should probably even write this down. What I don't want to forget about is... This doesn't have... What I don't want to forget about is we got to do testing. I want to do Sana and I want to do Zorii. Wait. What were these guys again? My bad Bast could beat that. Oh, I'm so tempted. Let's just do this. We don't need to start. This is how I get myself into trouble. This is why I upset a lot of the people who watch my channel. It's because I love to do these risky things on the front wall that are unnecessary. But I like the security of holding back good counters for the back wall. And like I'm expecting like Mon Mothma. Like he's got a Kyle Katarn. At this point everybody's gonna get Kyle Katarn. Let's just auto. Let's Womps and now auto, because now it doesn't matter. Let's see. There's a few things I want to hit on. One, I know none of you are going to care about. It's about Isaiah Hartenstein, the New York Knicks backup center. I only care. Well, he's a ridiculous player whose advanced stats make him look like Nikola Jokic. He could be tremendous, and I had him on my fantasy team forever. But I couldn't wait for him any longer. I let him go a month ago, like in end of December. And he might have a role now, and I lost him. Because I play in a ridiculously deep fantasy league. I play in a 16-team league. So there's not a lot on waivers. It's just front of mind right now. I know almost none of you are basketball fans. The overlap between a basketball fan and SWGOH players is not a big overlap. Back to reading Star Wars comics. I got volume something of Darth Vader. I had a year ago read several volumes and then stopped. But I'm back to it. It's the only Star Wars I'm reading. What did I pick up? I've got like Judge Dredd and Concrete and Paper Girls and some other things I grabbed. Alright, let's move on. Here's what I'm thinking. One, I need to remind myself what this Omicron does. I don't even know What is it? Is it the unique? Max protection. We have we have reduced potency. He's immune to ability block and cooldown. But I don't think they're all Hut Cartel. Because Grief is not. Or we gotta double check Grief, but I'm fairly certain he's not. Yeah, so he's messing up his Omicron. It's not gonna work right. It's gonna have a portion of it, but not the total usage. Okay. That's fun. I think we're gonna do this Bossk. I think we'll just JTR Swolo it. We could technically... I guess we'll use these guys. I'm gonna play this a little bit differently than I have in the past. I've been wanting to make a change, and we're going to institute that change. I can't use a Datacron. So there's 2 AoE, 3 AoEs. Maybe that's too many AoEs. I think we... No, this is foolish. They're going to die quick. Zam's going to go so fast. It's not how I want to play it. Savage is not going to outpace some of this stuff. We tried that before. It kind of worked, but it's not going to. Let's not do that. I need to set out a plan is what I need to do so I don't waste time. I'm going to pause while I think this through. Actually, we're not going to pause. We're just going to attack or sing with JTR. And I need to update all my presets. I stopped using presets because of how outdated they got. And now the problem's just getting worse. Okay. Everybody's in their right place. I'm happy with that. I could have BB-8. BB-8's what character I need to take higher. So what we're doing now is JTR is being forced out. I guess we can just hit Grief Karka right away. So I'm going to do it. We'll pull his turn meter. Awesome. This is all going according to plan. Yeah. Okay. I took out Aurra Singh because if the leader goes, Chrysanthemum comes back. Or maybe that's only if they're all Hunt Cartel. Maybe it wouldn't have happened. Anyway, that was quick work. No, it's this other team. You know what? Let's not overthink it. Let's just maul this. Yeah. You could technically use Hondo, but I'd rather I want to test out Hondo in a more extreme situation. Because this is my last week of non-relic Hondo. Alright, we get turn meter, basic ability. Yeah, that's good for this. Okay, offense tech on Canderous so we can get that turn meter going. Frenzy's been triggered. Second frenzy trigger. And now let's blow up Zam, get rid of the effects of that Omicron. And go after IG-88 because he's weak and we can take him out fast. I'll hit Boba Fett now. Okay. Now we'll hit Bossk. Okay. I left those guys alive. I left IG-88 where he was because I wanted the AoE from Maul to take out IG-88 and give me the 5 stacks of Anguish so I could use it right here. None of it really matters. Okay. Now we got Night Sisters, Dash, and what else? So weak Dash team, we got Iden, Night Sisters with Nest. We're gonna Savage solo the Iden, because that's fun. This here we go. He's gonna be using his basic a lot, so that's a data crown I like to give him so to boost his offense. And this is an auto. You just gotta choose who to attack because once he gets through Shore Trooper, he's gonna want to go after Iden. You don't really want to do this on the versions where there's a lot of relics. Let's stay focused. Alright, I need him focused. He's getting distracted. Okay, next time we'll take out Shore, or not, that's right, the revive. Now we'll take out Shore. Now we take out Storm. Okay, there's hit, another hit, and now Storm is gone. Okay. Alright. Maybe we should go after range. No, I'm happy with it. Oh my god, the recovery. Alright. There's one time. Okay. Now, so the big moves in my roster, like, this is what we're going to see this week. A lot of versions like this. I'll continue this point after we get into the next battle. I might gas solo the Night Sisters, but I think we're going to need to do Rey first, depending on how we handle Rey. Yeah, let's handle Rey, because there's things I want to talk about here. It's Relic 8. So do we want to handle this? His mods are bad. We're going to do Starkiller. We have some slight changes from previous periods. This is something I've been talking about for a while, especially last season. We're talking about the various weaknesses on my roster that we're working to improve, especially now that Jabba is not done, but unlocked, and Aphra will have for next week. But like, we don't have a Relic Visas, we can't put a Datacron on. These are the kinds of things that are causing me to not have the performances in Kyber 2 that I would like. It doesn't really hold us back in what was it? In Kyber 3. But some of these counters, because I don't have all those relics, and then some of these characters I don't have at the right levels, I don't have some of the counters that would really benefit my roster, this being one of them, where sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And right now, we're going to gamble to see if it does work. I think I want a basic. I want the assist. Do you have stagger? Yeah, you have stagger. Let's hit the stagger. I'm going to hit Poe again, get him into the damage immunity. Maybe we can just take him out. Go down. Not quite. Okay, fine. Alright, I am going to... Can we... Just going to go after Hondo. We got to get Rey into the yellow. Do I want to call the assist? Yes. I'm going to dispel. There's the damage immunity. Let's see if we can bring Rey down as well. I'm saving the Unleashed. Let's do defense penetration up, I guess. We just gotta survive one big hit. Okay, some damage immunities are coming off, which is great. Holdo's the only one who didn't hit damage immunity. Can you take your hit, man? Okay. I don't want House Steel. Are you just gonna be countering? Let's stun, I guess. Come on, guys. Alright. Fine. This is why mods matter. This is a little ridiculous. I need my Starkiller faster too, and I'm gonna put some more Omicrons on. There we go. Alright, so we got gas for that counter. See, that worked. In Kyber 2, that doesn't always work. And these are some of the points, like, this is what I'm leading up to, but that fight required attention. We're going to do this the risky way first. We can afford a loss. I want to do this. Not her. Technically, Mando is part of this, but I've got a Gear 12 Mando. He's going to die. Or he's more likely to die, so I'm willing to... I'd rather have the stats from Zam, because Grief is also a risk to die. This could go very poorly, but I'd rather test this than use JMK, the safe one. Because just like with the Starkiller against the Rey, this is one of these counters that I need working for Kyber 2. For me to really perform and have the success at those higher levels that I used to have at the first half of last year, that the second half of last year, that level moved beyond me. Because what I don't like, here's what I don't like, and this is one of the realities of this channel, is these Kyber 3 weeks where I just beat up, excuse me, where I beat up on my opponents, and like all this looks really great. This is, I mean, this might be fun to watch, it's fine. But then we go into Kyber 2 where I get beat up and the videos are, like, they don't look great. But the reality is, I'm only in those situations to get beat up so much because of how we've been doing in overperforming with my roster. Alright, let's blow him up. Really, I need to take out Maul. Okay, Maul's down. Jeez, I can't. I mean, this is what I want. This opponent, his mods aren't even bad. Like, I'm kind of surprising we're beating him up like this. I don't even want to hit the Krennic. I'd rather start working on Vader. Okay. That's not good. We got a daze on the key characters. I'm not using the stuff. Alright, here we go. We need more armor shreds, but this is a start. Yeah, let's do the assists. Scared. I need to heal. Probably gonna lose somebody. Ugh. Okay. That's fine. We'll clean it up with JMK. So, I don't know. I think if I would have actually put more pressure on Vader earlier, that could have been winnable. But even with more relics, I think it would have been winnable. And maybe even Mando clearing out somebody quickly. Like, yeah, Mando clearing out someone quickly could have helped. It was in range. Yeah, the 2GL life is over. I don't know how I feel about it. But the one thing is, like, 3GLs is still lower than most people these days in Kyber 2 and Kyber 3. I mean, definitely Kyber 2. I should have. This is how out of date this stuff is. I don't even have a JMK on it. Jeez. It's ridiculous. Not Shock T. Maybe Shock T. Shock. What were the other teams? There's a Dash and a Night Sisters, but do I need Shock T for? Let's just use Padme. Let's do the damage. See, we could have one-shot this with JMK, but I think there's more value in using the Fennec. You know what? I think I should have brought in Shock T. And let's play this out correctly, because the AI, I don't think, is going to do this right. Okay. Okay. All right. I probably would have been fine. I just don't want to be overconfident on it. All right. Is that a Malik solo? My only concern is armor shreds from Shock T. And we don't need to risk it. This is a nonsense Qui-Gon team. I'm going to do something reckless. Because that's in my blood. That's not what we want. Talia. So we want Talia for a debuff cleanse. Get rid of that foresight so to weaken the AoE. We need to start losing bodies. Okay. Okay, perfect. Now we just do this for a minute or two. Once Ventress is gone, I like to bring somebody back. Not that it really matters, Ventress just feels like a security blanket. We're still taking a lot of damage, so we're going to stick with revives for a little bit longer. Still getting hits. I don't like taking damage. I do not like that. Heal up. Okay. Feeling a... Ooh, that was reckless. That was reckless. Okay. That's why Talia is here. For that right there. I think the next... Oh, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. Okay. Oops. We got a little lucky because that was a mistake. Next time we get an AoE from Anakin, then we will take out Qui-Gon. We're actually really low on time. Should just do it. We're just going to do it because I'm concerned about time. Okay, let's take out Jolie before a revive. All right, fine, we will revive. Alright, that's why we don't auto. Yeah, I'm not happy right now. I'm wasting too much time. Come on. We don't have time for this. Take him out. Okay. Keep going. Come on. Yes. Alright, that got a little scary, but that's why I like to do it. It's a fun one. I'm a little out of practice. We can just JML this. Right. Oh wait, we want to test stuff. Alright, let's test. We're only going to do one test, probably. And actually, it's not going to go well. Maybe we won't. Here's the problem. Dash is just going to AoE and wipe everybody out. Which I'm going to repeat in a moment because if people use time stamps, they're not going to hear me say that. But we're doing it anyway. Alright, this is what we're doing for a test. It's going to go bad. Actually, we might be okay. Because we should... No, never mind. Yeah. I was thinking for a moment, all the extra speed that Zorii adds maybe would have allowed us to go before dash, but I guess not. Let's see here. Yeah, this is a cleanse. We gain turn... Yeah, we get a ton of turn meter. So yes, let's do that. This is buff immunity, right? Yeah, so definitely do that. Come on. We're doing basic. We want the we have tenacity up, but we want more. I'm gonna throw a stun on L3. No, L3 is gonna... We might still get it. She'll cleanse, but yeah. We're not gonna trigger any though. There isn't any. So maybe we want to hit somebody else. Let's hit Swolo because he has a thing to trigger. Thing is, we gotta take out Vandor in order to have any shot of doing anything. Let's go for a stun. Not liking this. Okay, expose all enemies is good. What? Oh, and there must be conditions where I needed to have something in order to do that, which is annoying. Yeah, this is about what I was expecting. And this is why we're only doing one test, because Sana Staros is going to be the same things. Sana's just going to... Sana is too weak. She's going to get blown up, so I don't want to do that either. We're just going to do... We'll take the rest of this seriously. But I think we can gas solo this, so we're going to do it. I don't think Nest is going to change this. Tenacity. Yeah, why not? Ooh, wait a second. What does this Omicron do again? I know it's going to help a lot of the recovery, but is it going to mess this up? It probably is. Let's not risk this. Not with the Omicron present. This is not the time to learn whether or not it's going to make a difference. Let's just do this. All right. We're going to have no fun. Fun is over. Okay, there's one. Sure. None of this matters. There's two. Let's throw the armor shred on Nest. All right, perfect. Now we hit Nest. Okay, another armor shred. Take your turn. Goodbye. Alright. I'm just thinking about the Padme now. Can we have fun? I brought the Hutt Cartel to have some fun with. Can I have fun with them? Right? No, we did this before. We got stuck with L3. I mean this is an relic L3, so I don't think we need to be too concerned about it, but let's just be serious here. Let's be serious. Hondo! I wanted to use Hondo. Oh, and we have Treya. There's all these things I want to use. We're going to do Hondo. Well, do I not have cure? Where's cure? Oh, fine. Okay. Let's do that. You gotta have fun with Hondo. This is reckless and dumb of me, but I gotta have fun with Hondo. We're gonna do it, but we're gonna lose Hondo if we take out L3, so I'm really hoping we don't. So I'm actually gonna basic. I gotta intentionally try not to kill L3. Oh, jeez. Oh, I knew that was gonna happen. Okay, this is my chance. I had this whole speech telling myself to take things seriously, and then I see one character that I want to play with, and I throw it all away. Let's just get out of here. Alright, let's take things seriously now. Let's, what kind of Jedi action do we have? Sure. Yeah, fine. And Mark Vandor, let's get to work. Okay. See, this is boring to me. This is why I get so tempted by wanting to test out new characters. There's nothing to learn here. Sure. I'd rather test out Sonastaros and risk a loss, is how I feel about things. I have no regrets, except for applying the ransom from Hondo when I knew we were risking that we could lose Hondo. That's my only real regret. I wish I had that crit damage one. Ooh, here we go. That works. Alright, just blow this up. I want to be done. Come on. Alright, let's stun everybody. We already got ability blocks. Let's worry about inherited teachings right now. Yeah, let's just take out Mace. Can I just blow up Padme? That's what I'd like to do. Oh my god, man, come on. Alright, let's just auto. Let's go to ships. Let's get back to testing things. All right. What do we want to test where? We're going to do the Executrix here. And I've not done my homework on this. So I don't actually know what we should be using. But what I want to do is to be able to split up this fleet. And the scimitar really, I think that might just be the Profundity. Maybe it can be any version, but I don't think you use it in the Executor counter. I know that the TIE Bomber has to be used. Gauntlet would go to Chimera, and the rest of this would really go to Chimera. The TIE Reaper is the only one that we could really consider for this fleet. But really, ideally, we wouldn't be using it. Alright, let's use that. We'll have relics on a lot of the Sith Eternal Emperor characters soon. The period for me having 3 GLs is going to be short. I am almost ready to go for a Sith Eternal Emperor. We'll see how quickly I unleash that, but we're at least going to, like pilots and stuff, we're going to work on having some of those those relics and boosting up a lot of characters, even if we're not completely ready to go for You're really gonna take all my... I should have thrown that on the other TIE fighter. Yeah, I don't care about you. I want the taunt, but really I want this. I want the burning. I should have brought out the defender. Can I... I'm gonna try and I'm trying to slow play this. Don't take him out. Come on, man. Fine. I want to take out the defender. Now, I should have brought out. I'm gonna get to see the defender. I haven't even used the defender yet. That would have been my first time testing it at all. I haven't even done it in Fleet Arena. Yeah, let's just be done with this. Thinking about it, it's actually possible for my opponent to clear my fleet. I don't know if he'll do it, but he could do it. I'm going after Reaper because that's driving turn meter if I take out anything else. Because the way he could play is he could take out my... Well, there's the Malevolence counter against the Executor. That's an option. If he doesn't do that, he could do an Executor counter. You can low star beat the Executor. Then he still has the Malevolence and Negotiator take out other fleets. Like, he's got options to do it. And I gave up banners with that dash situation. But I know he's not undersizing things, but I didn't really do a lot of undersizes. So technically, that Hondo situation might cost me a win if my opponent goes for it. I don't know that he will, though. Because some of the teams that he set down, like the Ki-Adi-Mundi team that he put down, the Lord Vader team he put down, it tells me that he's not a player who obsessively looks at how to do things and play things and optimizes his team's encounters. So it's likely that the way he plays this, he's not going to play that fleet offense in an optimal way. Yeah, I think that's how we do it. Technically, we don't even need any reinforcements. Let's just be done with this. We're going to have to tag on the results. Yeah, we're not pulling in any reinforcements. I want more banners. You should do resistance pilot, not Poe's X-Wing on the starting line. Poe works much better as a reinforcement. His reinforcement ability is better. And because the resistance pilot has some turn meter moves, which are nice on the front line. Oh, come on. I'm a little worried about this countdown on the ultimate. This fight's been going a long time, but we did take out a lot of his ships pretty quick. Okay, that's the win. All right. I think we're gonna handle this in one of two ways because I want to minimize the editing that I have to do. What we're gonna do is, if my opponent attacks, then I will insert the results here. If you don't see me inserting any results and we just move to the outro, it means he didn't attack or that it was a safe win and we move to the outro. That way we don't have to do any editing. Editing, though, in the case that he does continue playing. And we will wrap it up there. Very happy to be back into a 5v5 season. Done traveling, which affected the past couple weeks of video output. There's a few things that I want to get caught up on. I do want to say things about Admiral Trench. He's a Conquest character, so he won't be active for a while. So I do want to approach the kit reveal for anyone who's interested in my analysis of what I'm reading into that. I know there's a number of videos that we have due and I want to be putting out. So thank you for watching. Be safe out there, everyone. Be excellent to each other. This is Still Plays Galaxy of Heroes.